answered this. 9 Viagra pills are dispensed every second of the day. That's nearly 300 million tablets a year. It is a billion-dollar industry, so is it any wonder that drug companies are in a race to develop what we're calling a pink Viagra for women?
I'm intrigued. Research shows that 43% of women suffer from female sexual dysfunction. But does the condition actually exist? Investigative journalist and author of Sex, Lies and Pharmaceuticals, Ray Moynihan, joins us to shed some light on the issue. Welcome, Ray. Now, the youngster and I are intrigued, as are all of our female viewers around the nation. Can we just go back to see where your interest in female sex dysfunction came from, Ray? Basically, in 2002, you went to a seminar for doctors at New York University. You were really surprised to discover that the speakers at the lecture were from the drug company that was sponsoring it. The product that the drug company was trying to push was heavily involved in this conference. Can I ask you, what is female sex dysfunction, first of all, before we go into the interplay that's happening here?
That is the billion-dollar question, because the drug industry see this as a giant market. The sex research community are very split. We don't really know exactly what it is. Probably there are a group of women for whom problems of arousal, desire, orgasm or pain are so severe that a medical label is warranted. But these claims that 43% of women suffer from this condition are clearly absurd.
What about rewinding, Ray, 30 years ago when Viagra hadn't been invented, and to think that a pill could solve this problem is a little bit fantastical. Maybe, are you just too much of a skeptic?
Well, that's a very good question. If you look closely at drug company marketing campaigns, you tend to become very skeptical. And what the book uncovers is a lot of the hidden marketing. So what we're seeing is the actual condition itself is in some way being shaped by the drug companies, and that's quite scary.
And isn't the difference too, Ray, that when Viagra was discovered, it wasn't discovered initially for that purpose, and then suddenly they realised that it decreased blood circulation to that area, whereas they've seen the success of that. Now they've gone, hang on, we can measure when a man's not sexually performing because something works or it doesn't.
Yes.
We can't measure as easily when a female doesn't perform, and haven't they tried to match a disease to a drug rather than the other way around?
Well, that's what's happened. When Viagra was a possible cure for women, we talked about women having problems of blood flow. Then when testosterone was a possible cure, the condition was a deficiency of hormones. And now that an antidepressant is being proposed, the problem is all in women's brains. There's a chemical imbalance. So yes, the disease is in some way shaped to fit the drug solution.
Well, let's talk about maybe the studies that have been done on the effectiveness. Hasn't the placebo had just as good as effect as the drug?
That's right. The dummy pill that's used in these trials is having a similar effect to the drugs. But the dummy pill doesn't have the side effects that the drugs have. And so testosterone, for example, concerns about long-term increased risks of heart attack and cancer from long-term testosterone use.
So, Ray, at the moment there is no successful pill. There's lots of trials, but there's no pill.
That's correct. There's nothing approved in the US market, nothing approved here. Testosterone had a very limited approval in Europe, but because of concerns about side effects, it just hasn't taken off. But don't fear. There will be more drugs in the pipeline. There are drugs in the pipeline.
Yeah, so I think what your book is saying is that eventually there will be a drug for female sexual dysfunction, whether or not it's effective or not, it's on its way to the market. What do you think is the key to, I guess, women getting their mojo on more?
Well, that's that. If I wrote that book,
You'd be a millionaire.
I could retire tomorrow. This is really a book revealing a lot of the hidden marketing, so that when women hear claims about these widespread sexual disorders, and when their partners hear these claims, it's time for a bit of questioning, because the conditions are in some way being constructed by the companies hoping to sell you a treatment. But what's going to help women? That's a complex question. There are lots of things. Massage, male partners cleaning the house a little more.
Oh, yeah!
And sometimes male partners, I'm sorry, but doing the right thing in
Doing
the
the
bedroom.
right thing. Well, there you go. I mean, I'm not sure.
Sometimes it's as simple as that rather than popping a pill.
Well, absolutely. You said it. Yeah.
Your concern is the merging of marketing and medical science.
That's
and,
it.
Even these figures of 43% of women come out, a lot of the time, the drug company itself has come up with this survey, skewed the questions to get the result they wanted.
Yes.
I just wanted to read a quote from your book that you had here by American psychologist Sandra Leblam.
Yeah,
She says, what once was considered normal in terms of sexual function for females, nowadays has come to be considered dysfunctional. Nowadays, if a woman lacks the desire for sex and is bothered by it, she's diagnosed with a disorder of low libido. I mean, what happened to the days when we go, hey, I'm not up for it today and I'm not going to reach an orgasm?
Well, exactly, and that's what some of the feminists in the book argue, that we're seeing the creation of new norms of a kind of high and constant desire. And if people don't live up to those norms, they're somehow dysfunctional. And as people in the book say, this is a sinister and insidious process. Sex is a complex, wonderful, difficult thing. And the drug companies really are trying to exploit a lot of vulnerability about sex. That's what the book argues.
Well, praise the Lord for people like you who make us realise that it's not all about popping a pill, and sometimes it could be a really simple underlying issue that needs to be talked about necessarily than, again, pumping ourselves full of pharmaceuticals.
And it's not to say that sometimes the problems aren't really severe and need treatment.
True. Please thank our guest journalist, Ray Moore.
Thank you very much.
It's a really intriguing read. I highly recommend it. Ray's book, Sex, Lies and Pharmaceuticals, is available now in bookshops.